real estate sales agents bring in the luxury cars, but property management makes you safe and gives you a effortless, lucrative, fun life, knowing that you've got reoccurring revenue. And ladies and gentlemen, Johnny Bill, who is one of the founders of Wingman, a business that specializes in remote professionals and offshores. One of the companies that I'm actually both an ambassador, but I'm also the client because I use Wingman services. And let me tell you, I love them. I love them. I love them to the point that I went to the Philippines with them last year, and I'm going back to the Philippines this year. And Jonathan Bell, to me, is one of the great thought leaders in the PM space. And why wouldn't he be when this man here has built a property management business with 3,000 in only a few years? In fact, what did you do in new managements in April, Jonathan?
123 new managements.
Okay, 123 new managements because what they've done is pioneered how to make PM sales, right? That's what they've done. They've taken away the model of sales in the world and they have brought it into PM in a time when people thought, oh no, it's different. PM is an accounting job. It's quite different. So, Jono, firstly, I want to ask you, like, uh, uh, we're going to talk part business development, but also, structuring your property management business. Like, it's how long's a piece of string when it comes to how many properties a property manager should do. Like I get different answers. Like I have people saying to me, "Oh, Tom, I can't do too much more in sales because I've got this rent roll of 40 properties as well as me doing selling." Then I have other people say, "Oh, my property manager's doing 150." I never get a standardized answer, right?
Yeah.
Whereas in real estate sales, I know that there's certain standardized answers. Like I know to do a mill, you got to do roughly 25 appraisals. So, how many properties does a property manager have the ability to manage?
I think the industry average is around 120 managements per property manager. Our whole model is very much more, we've taken the EBU approach of sales and put it into property management. So our senior property managers to have a role in our business, our senior property managers have to manage a minimum of 250 properties. We've got one property manager who manages just under 400 properties, about 385 properties, a senior PM in our business. So they're doing about double the workload.
Okay, one moment. Steve has asked, is anyone having audio issues? Can
No,
I?
no one else is having audio issues.
Okay, perfect.
Just you,
Steve,
Steve. But I don't hope you can hear us.
head back into Harvey Norman. Let's get a system set up. Bang, let's go top of the works, everything. Ask for the works. So, Jono, so 250?
Yeah.
Man, what's do they blow a head gasket to do 250 properties? What's your experience with that?
No, like it's been probably the model that's given us the most the ability to grow the way that we have. So the way that we've structured it is we've got an average of 600 managements per two seniors, so an average of 300 managements each. They do all of the landlord communication. So really, when you think about it, the as a property manager, you get paid by the property manager, but you get paid by the landlord to manage the property of for the landlord. So basically, that is their job, is to build relationships and manage the landlord's investment. So our two seniors, their role is to be able to manage the property for the landlord. Then we have a junior property manager who basically sits between the two seniors and does all of the entries, exits, and routines on behalf of those two seniors. And there's some really good tech around that now. You can do 360 reports and be able to manage that. And then basically both seniors then have an executive assistant through Wingman that do all of the tenant communication, all the lease renewals, arrange all the routine inspection reports, organize all the open homes on a Saturday, do all the lease renewals, literally the 90% of the role. So it frees up the senior property managers to only focus on the relationships. Because when you look at like a property manager's job, 70 to 80% of their role is administration. It's not actually relationship building when property management is relationship building. So two seniors, junior property manager does all of the out of office because a good senior property manager doesn't want to do routine inspections. Like when they get to a certain part of their career, they don't want to be driving around doing routines, entries, and exits. And then how do you then strip away the 80% of the admin? That's where we've used offshore that we've fully trained to do all of that back end admin and also reply to all of our tenants. They follow up tradies, they call out tradies, they book in all the maintenance work, they follow up all the quotes. So it frees up the senior. And really, our senior's job is to be calling landlords and building relationships.
Okay, so Jason Rose is one of the great real estate agents and a good client of mine in Canberra has just asked the question. Jason, I hope that's been answered because I think, Jason just said, can you explain? Yes, it's answered it. Thanks, Jason. Then the next question, Oliver has asked, would you class them more as relationship managers?
Yeah, literally. Like we used to call them relationship managers, but then our landlords said, what is that? Like the industry knows them as property managers. So the landlords wanted to think of them more as a property manager, but ultimately they are relationship managers. And really, like they're actually team leaders because they've got a team under them. They've got their junior and then they've got their two EAs that they manage. And a challenge in the property management industry is after about 2 years, every property manager wants to become a team leader. And you can't just have a team of team leaders. So it's a really good way to give your property managers an ability to become a team leader whilst also managing a portfolio and generating revenue. So it creates like a win-win-win because it means that the property manager wins because you can pay them substantially more. Like our vision is to have the highest paid property managers in the country. If we can pay our property managers more than anyone else, we also then the property manager doesn't have to do out of office activities. So there's a tick there. It means they can work from home as well and have autonomy over their role, which then means you get better staff retention, which means that the clients are really happy because the biggest gripe in the property management industry is they say, I get a new property manager every 7 months. And then it also means the business is more profitable. Like our PM business runs over 30% profit margins, including our BDM salary in our profit and loss. So we're a very highly profitable business. Our clients get a really good service and our PMs earn really good money.
You know what? You know what I just thought of when you were talking about relationship manager, and I thought, are the guys? So I use four different property managers. Part of it's got to do with location, right? Or I bought them off an agent. It was just too easy. Jono, I'm not joking. I can't remember one of them ringing me up and asking me to take other managements to them. There's no one that's taken that role to actually look. I'll be honest with you. I actually hate it when they ring because it normally means it's costing me money. I actually hate it when they call. When I see their number come up on my screen, I know that at the end of that phone call, I will be poorer, not richer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And how do you that's our whole model is how do you change that? So our whole model is every time we get a lease renewal or we increase the rent, our property managers call the landlord to give them the good news. Every time that we do our juniors do a routine and the property's in really good condition, our property managers are calling them saying, hey, really good news, your property manager, your tenant is looking after the property. So the way that we've built it is how do you create that trust and calling them with good news typically means that they want to answer the phone a bit more and then they're more receptive to the bad news when it comes as well.
Okay, so I want to repeat all that John's done in his model is use the effective business unit where you've got the person that's the most skilled at the top as the property manager. He's then got two people. So the pods are made of three people.
So two seniors, one junior.
Yeah.
So who are all three are onshore. So your seniors are your elite, your juniors are, someone who just runs around, does, field officer, and then two EAs in the Philippines, where you get highly skilled people in the Philippines for a fraction of the cost.
Can you just tell me roughly in terms of, and I know that you're in the Brisbane market, and I know that salaries around Australia differ, Sydney, what have you, cost of living. In Brisbane, roughly that model, what's it cost for a head property manager? What's it cost for the different roles?
So senior property manager minimum now 90 grand plus
Yeah.
super. And then your junior property manager is 55 to 70 in between that range. And
Mm.
then your executive assistants in the Philippines are 30,000 a year.
Okay. Beautiful. Now, what we've heard of ideal days, ideal weeks, and in sales, like they're out there. I mean, I've got in the real estate gym 20 of them. They're everywhere, ideal weeks are everywhere. But I've always been curious, how do you structure a perfect day for a property manager when their whole life is, hey, the hot water's not working, whatever, interruption after interruption.
We did this. So when we were scaling, we went from 300 managements to 1,000 in 1 year. It was 2022. And I brought in, like I was BDMing for the first 3 years and bringing all the managements in. So it was really personal to me. So we lost 1 month. I think we lost about 10 managements from service in 1 month. And I lost it. I was so upset because I brought those managements in. I had relationships with those people. Like it was a tough time to see that. So I went into the office and I said to my senior PMs, right, you've got one KPI. You just have to call and speak to 15 landlords every day. You can work from home. This is through the COVID. You can work from home. You can do whatever you want. You can have a 4-day week. I don't care. You have to speak to 15 landlords a day. That is your number one. And in return, I'm going to give you a junior property manager. I'm giving you offshore support. I'm doing all of the back end for you. That's all I ask. The following month when we did that, we didn't lose one management from service. It was the most fascinating thing. And when you think about it, if you speak to 15 landlords a day, that's 75 landlords a week. That's 150 landlords a fortnight, and that's 300 landlords a month. So you're speaking to every single landlord once a month. You literally can't lose. And there's all these there's all these new automations and systems, but really all that's trying to do is to give time back to the property manager so they can be on the phone to their landlords. And I think if there's one takeaway from today, if you get your property managers, if you support your property managers to be able to spend time doing 15 outbound calls and connects a day, a lot of your problems will go away.
Now, I've got to say, Jono, we do a lot of prospecting in the sales side of the real estate gym. So I've got data now that shows that 10 have met calls, people that you've met and have a relationship, which is quite different to cold prospecting. And yours, they're warm calls, man. They're not only are they a have met, they're already a client, right? So I think you would knock 10 over in an hour for sure, right? In an hour. This is not like a 3, 4 hour job. Oh, half my day's gone there. You have a list of people. You can stand up, go through each call, 3 to 4 minutes. So you're saying for you, 15 calls, that was your KPI that you were saying to, was it 10 or 15 you said?
15 a day. If that's all, and you'd be surprised though, Tom, when I said that to my team, they're like, I don't have time to do 15 calls a day. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. So as a leader, I think it's our responsibility in property management to go, okay, well, what can I take away from you to give you more time so you can do that? Because you can't just go to your property managers and say, here, you're already doing 1,000 tasks. Here's one more for you because they are, their salary. Most PMs are on salaries. So you can't, at least in sales, you're incentivized to make the calls. You're not incentivized in PM to make the calls. So you have to go, okay, well, in return to giving you this task, what will I take away from you? And that's something we've done quite well with the Wingman team is like, if you give your property managers a support staff member to take away those tasks, in return, they will do the calls, which will increase your relationships. It means you'll bring in way more managements, and it means your PMs will be a lot happier and your landlords.
Okay. Rachel has just asked the purpose of the call. What do you say when you're like what's a typical call sound like?
Yeah, I don't believe in no, people call them no reason calls. I don't like it. Like, Tom, if a property manager called you and said, hey, Tom, just want to check in, are you having a good day? You'd probably be like, I'm a bit busy to chat to you about your day. Um,
Well, I'd probably listen because I'm not a confrontational person. I'd be nice to them, but I got to tell you, I reckon like if I saw them ring my phone again, I probably would think to myself, it's a bit of a non-event call, so I wouldn't answer it again. So
Yeah.
that would be the end of it. So
Yeah.
you're saying there's got to be a because, a purpose
It's,
for the call.
yeah. Hey, good news. Wanted to let you know that your tenants have just re-signed the lease for an extra $50 a week. Quick call. While I've got you, Tom, have you got any other properties or are you looking to buy in the next few months? If you are, we're always looking to support our landlords with their growth journey in their property investments.
Yeah, I actually think that a lot of the sales type calls that happen in prospecting, which we don't like also, Jono, in sales, the no reason call or the check in or the touch base call, but what they are is things that have come on the market around the area, things that have been leased or sold around the area, things about a new development going into the area, what the marketplace is like at the moment, right? There's always something that you could do. Obviously, the routine inspections and all that sort of stuff. But what you're saying is, don't get into the habit of calling to say, "I'm calling for no reason."
Yeah, give like some. If I'm assuming, Tom, if someone called you and said, "Hey, just wants to," because when the lease goes out, a landlord usually wants to know what's going on. Have they signed the lease? Are they staying? So giving them when it's that like there's that angst period with a landlord. Hey, are they staying? Are they going? Or were they, that hot water system? You told me that it was, it was broken. Is it fixed yet? I don't want my tenant not having hot water. So when there's that opportunity where landlords want to know what's going on, that's when you strike.
And I reckon, John, I think I would love it if property managers involved in the offices that I'm dealing with as a landlord rang me up to say, "Hey, Tommy, nothing serious, but a property down the road from you has just been leased out." Or, "Hey, Tommy, even better, I know that you're not selling, but I want to let you know our sales team sold number 47 in your street for 1.8 mil. Mate, you're looking good. I know that you're not selling, right?" And I really feel like that to me would be added value, even though it's a sales element, but it's my asset. And I don't care whether I'm looking at my asset as a rent or looking at my asset as how much equity I'm sitting in. That's still valuable to me. I just want to ask you, Jono, um, um, can we manage?
Rachel wants to manage your properties, Tom.
Where are Rachel? Thanks for asking. Rachel, type out where you are. Uh, yeah, he shared that script. Thanks, Conrad. Um, uh, Someone asked before, do you use the Manage app for trust accounting? What? No?
No, we don't. I won't say it live online because we have a partnership with a lot of prop
Okay.
techs. So we use it. We use one of the prominent prop tech companies, and I think that they're all great. And I don't think you should overanalyze which one you choose. I think you should just make sure that you learn it the best you can, and don't have 15 different tech subscriptions. Just pick one and nail it.
Yeah, I always say to people, Joe, with technology and CRM systems, they all work. They need humans to work them. Humans rarely work them. Don't worry about the system. Worry about your application to the system. Now, Jason Rose has asked, do you do your own trust accounting?
Wingman does it. So we've got in our business, because we're bringing on so many managements, we've got a team of three offshore. We've just employed our fourth in our trust accounting division. They do all of the water bills. They do all of the arrears. They do all of the trust accounting. They do all the disbursements. They even do all of our payroll. So they manage all our property managers' leave entitlements. They do payroll every fortnight. Accounting is a very popular task in the Philippines. Having an accounting degree is quite common, and there's obviously no language barriers with accounting. So we've had some really good success with offshoring that
Okay. Hey, Ben, how you going? Are the trust accounting people communicating verbally with landlords
via email.
by email? Beautiful. Maintenance and bills is asked by Jason again.
All offshore. Like and then when you hear all this stuff, you realize how much stuff your property managers are doing that they shouldn't be doing.
Okay. Conrad's just asked, curious, in your market, what is the average fee for managements?
Yeah, we're in New Farm, which is quite an affluent area. So we've got a really good market rent. I think our average rent's 650 to 670, and our average fee is 7% plus GST, which means our double AMIs, which is your average annual management income, which is what your assets valued on, is 2,200.
Okay, beautiful. By the way, Jono, I don't know, I've never asked you this. Do you have like, if there's people watching this, because I'm noticing Ben, who's a great, they're Ben, that office in Bill, they actually that's 5 offices in Bill, they're pretty much all over the Hunter area. If these like, do you have a service where, like, if they want to see it in person, do you do that, or do they ring you up, or how do you do it? Like,
Yeah, so we've actually got a roadshow in Melbourne for any Melbourne agencies I think it's in June. So we're basically flying all of our team to Melbourne and we're hiring out a venue and we do a full, we call it a roadshow. Basically do a full day and we talk all about how we've grown the way we have, how we structured our rent rolls, our BDMs speak, our team leaders speak. So we do that. And also for anyone who wants to come, we've got our office, we've got an open door policy. We had a Ray White office come in this morning. So people are welcome to come and spend a few hours in the business because it all sounds great in theory, but I think it's important for people to actually see it in action. So we're very open to people coming and seeing
how,
it.
how do they contact Wingman for these things? How does that work? Is that
I'll get I think Nick Georges is on the call. He might be able to put the link to the Wingman, but basically just register your inquiry on the Wingman website.
so,
Um,
Susan? If just in case Nick's not on there, Susan, do you mind in the chat group just to type in the Wingman? You thanks, Susan. She's put that in there. It's in the chat group. Thank you. Um, uh, what does a full-time trust accounting person cost is a question that Ben's asked.
about 30,000 a year, same as any offshore.
And then one question, and then I'm going to ask you a couple more myself. What workflow patterns do you use, or you can't inform? What workflow platform do you use?
Oh, so within our software, there's a project management tool that we've built out all the processes and the systems in there. Part of what we do at Wingman is like offshoring's only as good as the system behind it, which we've learned. So you can't just put an offshore person in and say, "Hey, manage all of our stuff." You have to build a really strong process and a system behind it. So we've got 17 staff onshore, and basically what we do is we go into businesses and we help them build out their processes and their systems. So we can definitely help with that. But basically, within your property management software, you can build out all your processes and systems. If you don't, a Monday.com or Trello, they're all very similar. But I do believe that you should try and do it all within the one system. Otherwise, every time you've got a staff member, there's double handling, and then they won't update one side of the system, and then they'll update the other, and then it gets really clunky.
Okay, beautiful. So yeah, Nick is on, but he's put down Susan was quicker than Nick. That's right.
That's not hard.
Wow. Hey, John, I'm going to bring it up after. I'm going to bring up that video on that pickleball guy, but I want to ask you very, very, very briefly the do's and don'ts of offshoring in property management. You've been the subject and the scientist in your own business. You've also been able to get the feedback from your clients over the years. And I saw a lot of them. I mean, guys and girls, we're talking about some serious businesses. When I was in Manila, I don't normally end up having a lot of time with big property management people, right? Because that's not my life. But here I was for a week, and I'm sitting next to people that have got rent rolls of 1,000, 2,000 that have been using your model, right? And it is, absolutely remarkable. But I'm sure you've learned what to do and what to not do using offshoring. So, what can you share there?
Just on that, Tom, I used to say, it's the quickest way to become a millionaire is to have a rent roll. All you need to do is sign 200 managements, approximately 200 managements, and you have $1 million asset. Like it is as an asset class, it is an amazing asset. You get cash flow. You don't have to, in sales, if you're in sales, if you leave that area and go to a new area, you're your whole IP's gone. You're known in that area. So if you want to move from Sydney to Melbourne, you get trapped because you have to start again. But in property management, it's an amazing business model that is cash flow positive and it's not reliant on one person. So being able to surround myself with those people, it is once you crack the code and you can really focus on organic growth, it's life changing.
Beautiful. And listen, I agree with you 100% because I actually think the sales side of real estate has got some, pretty, strong performers, right? Whereas in PM, it's never really had that sales element to it. And now, if you move in, you're going to have that first move advantage. So the opportunity is golden. Team, I got to share with this. So I play pickleball occasionally with Nick Georges, and Jono didn't talk about it. He's an ex-professional tennis player. He used to play the circuit, and I was playing, and I showed Nick Georges a video. I said, "This is the guy that coaches here at these pickleball courts." I think he was there that day. Oh, he wasn't there that day, Nick. He was there, and I showed it to him. I go, "Do you reckon Jono can beat him?" And he goes, "Listen, I'll let you know. Jono reckons he can beat anyone in pickleball. Simple as that." So I've got to share it with you here, Jono. Like this the guy. The guy in the white cap, look at that underneath his legs, just making this guy there. So, Jono, could you see all of that?
Yeah, I've what you sent it to me. I'm still a
I said it
yes.
to you just before, did I?
Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to see him. I'm going to see him next few days. Can I tell him that you're going to come over and just teach him? I'll say, mate, this guy John O'Bill, he's in property management. He reckons he looks at you. He goes, "I'll come and sort him out." Can I say that to him?
100%.
Okay, beautiful. Is there anything else on the do's and don'ts of offshoring? We didn't touch on that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've learnt the hard way from it. Like, I think that it was really interesting. Firstly, you need to make sure you've got really trained staff in the Philippines. Like the Filipino culture is extremely different, which Tom saw is they don't know what a landlord is. They don't know what a tenant is. They don't know what a tradie is. Like that you need to teach them that. So one thing we learned is we have to build a training academy so they're fully trained. That's number one. But then interestingly, the harder part is actually teaching your Australian property managers how to delegate. You can't that for most property managers who have been in the industry for 5 years, they're very controlling of their portfolio, they're protective of their tenants, they're protective of their landlords, they don't want to delegate, it's their role. So you actually have to teach the team, your own team, okay, this is what you delegate, this is what you don't delegate, this is how you manage your team. So you should be having a 15-minute strategy session with your offshore every morning to see what they're doing. Every afternoon, what did you complete? What didn't you complete? What are your challenges? Like they might seem simple to a lot of people on this call, but to property managers, they've never managed a team or anyone before. So it's actually, I think step one is training the offshore and getting them really well engaged. But then also step two is actually teaching your property managers how to delegate and also what the benefit of that is to them. So you need to paint the picture. If you can delegate really well and you can help your portfolio go from 120 to 200, what does that mean your property manager can earn? What's the income for your property manager? And giving them a really clear plan. If you get to 200 managements, your salary goes from 70,000 to 90,000. If you get from 250 managements to 300 managements, happy to pay you 120,000. And if you give them that plan and incentivize them along the way and actually show them how to do it, it's life changing. Like, if you've got a really good offshore team, every single client that we have who comes on board and does it well says, I can't believe I used to run my business without this. But it takes time and you've got to share the vision with your Australian team as well.
Beautiful. And I'm happy that Steve Hatz is back online because he's replied great advice, which says to me that you were able to pick up the volume and sound. Great to have you back, Steve. Jono, what would be your best piece of advice? This has come from Oliver in getting those systems for offshoring in place. So let's assume the theory's there, and let's assume someone's sitting there thinking, that's it. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired and not having my rent roll being BIW best in the world. this sounds attractive to me. What would be your best piece of advice in moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds biased, but I've done it before and it works really well. I'd have a strategy session with the Wingman team, talk to them about what your goals are, and build a really good strategy over the next 12 months about how you're going to improve your processes, improve your systems, go for little wins. Like, don't try and revolutionize everything tomorrow. Like, all right, let's nail the lease renewal process. Now let's nail the arrears process. Let's find a champion in our office who wants to drive this and wants career growth, and let's try it with them first. So I would do a few little things like that, but the whole idea of Wingman is for uh, property management's changed my life, and I get a lot of joy out of helping other people do the same. So it's something that the Wingman team actively do every day. So I'd book a strategy session in and share where you want to go in your business.
And they do that through that link that
Yep.
Susan there. They can do it through there.
Yep.
Okay. Finally, and I'm so excited. It's in my diary. In fact, Jono, let me make sure it's in there because I know the dates have changed to make it really friendly for people to be able to go there and not, because there's a lot of business owners that are on this right now. And I want them to be able to attend this event. So, off the top of my head, the event for Manila, the retreat, which involves Manila, then goes to a regional area to get a real feel of what the Philippines is like, and then to finish it off at Boracay. And this is all layered with learning and networking throughout, and it's tax deductible. And let me tell you, you're not going to Monaco, or you get incredible bang for buck in that country, right? Um, so the event, Jono, is Susan. Maybe, oh, Susan's done that already about the retreat. Beautiful. Sorry, Nick. Nick, if this was sale of the century, you wouldn't be invited back next week because you haven't pressed the buzzer. You haven't pressed the buzzer, right? And then Alan has said, "How great is property management?" That's what we wanted to do. We got to make it where, man, people are saying it's great, and I got to tell you why it's great. Because at the end of a 30-year real estate career, I got to tell you, you won't have a single commission left in your wallet, but you'll have a big rent roll that's worth millions and squillions of dollars that is seen by a bank to be nearly equivalent to actual real estate as an asset base, right? So the conference, Jono, is, in fact, what am I do?
Mid-September.
It's mid-September. In fact, here it is there, team. Let's bring it up here. That is the conference, Philippines 3.0. Geez, I had a good time there.
So Tom, we rented this year. We've gone big. We rented a whole island. So when we get there, we spend we spend one night in Manila, and then we catch a bus to an island to a place, and then we get a boat to an island that we've got the whole island. And it's pretty cool. Like we've already figured out there's going to be, I think it's 10 of the 20 biggest real estate property management businesses owners are all going to be there. So it's going to be like from a networking point of view, because there's not many industry events that are only like really focused on PM or have a lot of PM leaders there. So it's a big focus of ours to make sure that sales is there'll be a lot of salespeople there, but also a lot of business owners with big rent rolls like last year.
Together with the remote professionals and the contingent from Australia slash New Zealand, we're looking what, around 700 people, you reckon?
Yeah, I think we'll have a 600 Filipinos there, which is really special. And then, between 150 and 300 Aussies and
Yeah.
New Zealanders.
And let me tell you, outside of real estate, there is something invigorating, inspiring, and really motivating to go to another place to have a look at certain things like time it takes to get to work there, what living conditions are like, what cost of living is like, what you get for your salary. And then when you come back and you land at your airport, you come back thinking, man, my life is made. I've got it made here. What am I complaining about? What am I whinging about? Because you're able to actually feel, smell, touch what it's like for others. And let me tell you, they would swap spots in an instant. And for me, one of the real big values I've noticed about offshore workers is that you get, and right now, I accept that part of it has been our economic conditions, which have meant that we've basically had for many years hardly any unemployment. So you weren't getting that committed, I'm all in employee for you. You were getting that employee. Oh, if you're going to say that to me, I need you to know I have options, right? The fact that in Manila, they don't have that many options. The value of that role is like, I will treat this like it's the best job in the world. And I say that because Princess might even be, Susan, is Princess on here?
Yeah, she is.
No.
Do you want to
So
bring her on?
it's not necessary because I've realized I've got to rush to get somewhere. But listen, I feel guilty now. I mean, we might be putting her on the spot. If she wants to come on, she can come on. Susan, maybe you,
She's the co-host, so she can come on if she wants to.
right? Yeah, she can come on if she wants to, right? I'm putting her on the spot there. She actually was one of the people that was involved with the Wingman conference in September, which was called Profit, which, by the way, I've had a lot of people say very, very rarely in real estate do you actually have. Someone asked me the other day, Jono goes, everyone's happy to punch their GCI on their social media posts. They don't like putting their profit up there. What's the reason why? I said, listen, I'm not quite sure why. I think no one really talks about profit that much. But what's Jono done here? He's admitted someone in.
I think he's frozen and he's rejoining.
Oh, right. He's rejoining. Got it. So, Susan, you want to have a look out for him. While we're on there, ladies and gentlemen, it would be remiss of me not to show you what the EBU model, looks like in real estate, right? So I'm just going to quickly just share that while Jono comes back on. See? So what you're doing, this is an effective business unit model in real estate sales, right? It's got roles of team members. So Jono's back, right?
Sorry, Tom, my computer carked it.
Johnny, I was just buying some time there, so I basically was showing to them. So I want to let people know this is, I've got to tell you, you can get a wingman person to do a lot of middle row, some of right row, and I got to let you know that I have never ever seen a real estate agent have an epic business without an epic team. It's like there comes a time in life, like when it's to get a mobile phone, there comes a time in life where you thought, I better get a mobile phone, right? Like everyone, like I reckon that's where we're at with that assistant, man. That's a no-brainer. Now I know that we're not talking about sales, but the average salesperson's getting fees of 15 or 20 grand. I reckon you pay for your assistant or associate, remote professional, within the first 2 weeks out of a 52-week year. Like there are certain things that are 50-50. There are certain things that, oh, that's a good idea. And there are certain things that's a no-brainer. And that's what it is. Thank you, Jason. Jono, it is just about 5:15. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Anyone who wants more information or any checklists or task lists, please reach out. We're happy to share everything we've got.
Well, there you go. Sarah says thank you. Steve says, can I just say congratulations on your success, Jonathan? Thank you for sharing. Wishing you the best. You got it all together. You're a very inspiring guy. Yeah, we'll see how inspiring he is on that pickleball call. Kyle's going to be waiting for him. Thank you a lot, Jason. Listen, it's all positive. Thanks a lot, Jono.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it. See you guys.
Thanks a lot.